The world is currently facing hunger in an unprecedented scale. The year 2022 saw a rapid increase in food prices and shortages around the world. The crises around the world were caused by geopolitical, economic, and natural causes. On the onset of Russian invasion of Ukraine in February of this year, the Food and Agriculture Organization, as well as others, warned a collapse in the food supply as well as continuous increase in prices. Much of the concern is related to supply shortages of key crops such as wheat, corn, and oilseeds, which are currently responsible for the prices increase. The invasion of Ukraine is supercharging a three-dimensional crisis: food, energy, and finance across the globe. At the time of the invasion, Ukraine was the fourth largest exporter of corn and wheat and the world's largest exporter of sunflower oil. Russia and Ukraine together are responsible for 27% of the world's wheat exports and 53% of the world's sunflowers and seeds. For regions such as East Africa, Madagascar, which are already facing severe droughts and famine due to agricultural system failures and climate change, these price increases will only worsen their current situation. Countries such as UK and USA, which usually have secure food supplies, are also beginning to experience the direct impact of cost inflation. Some analysts report that the current price increase are worse since 2007-2008 food crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic also played its part in adding to this crisis by disputing the supply chain around the world. Rise in fuel and transport costs further added to the crisis situation. The floods and heat waves of 2021 contribute towards the destruction of crops in the USA and Europe. David Beasley, head of the World Food Programme, warned in March that the war in Ukraine could take the global food crisis to levels beyond anything we have seen before. The World Bank has stated that it has allocated $30 billion to address the food crisis within the next 15 months, with 4 key areas of focus: support production and procedures, facilitate increased trade, support vulnerable households, invest in sustainable food and nutrition security. The UN estimates that in the past year, global food prices have risen by almost 1/3, fertilizer by more than half, and oil prices by almost 2/3. According to UN figures, the number of severely food insecure people has doubled in the past 2 years, from 135 million pre-pandemic to 276 million today. According to the UN now, more than 500,000 people are experiencing famine conditions, an increase of more than 500% since 2016. In Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya, the number of people facing extreme hunger has more than doubled since last year, from roughly 10 million to more than 23 million today. Across the 3 countries, the report notes, one person is likely dying every 48 seconds from acute hunger-related causes stemming from armed conflict, COVID-19, climate change, and inflationary pressure worsened by the war in Ukraine. In Sri Lanka, rising inflation had led to a wholesale economic emergency, with extreme shortage of food, medicine, and fuel. This has led to ongoing continuous protests which began on the 9th April of 2022. The food inflation as at May 2022 is 57.4%. Whilst the Sri Lankan government engages in discussions with donor countries and donor organizations on receiving their support to face this crisis, the citizens are constantly encouraged to start cultivating in their own lands and lands which are not in use in order to avert this crisis.